I'm Nikita and welcome to It's Pretty Simple, podcast for all things fat loss, fitness, nutrition, strength, and just life. And I've been in the industry for about 13 years now. I've had the opportunity to help many women just like you transform their lives through fitness, nutrition, and just making everything much more simplified. I understand these days there's so much out there on the internet and all the information can be quite overwhelming. And there's also a lot of information that has so much of the science with it that it can be difficult for just an everyday person to understand. So I'm here to basically break down all the complex theories that you see and simplify it in normal terms. I'm not going to speak anything science. I'm not going to speak chemistry. I'm not going to confuse you. What I will do though through this entire podcast is make sure to leave you with resources depending on whatever topic we're talking about. My goal here is to make you understand fitness, nutrition, and just health overall in the most simplest way possible so that you can implement these things in your daily life. Now, my fitness journey started when I was 23 years old. And at that time, social media was not as big as it is now. And so the information was quite limited, which was good because, we didn't have as many people telling us what to do and as many sources. But the problem then was that there was too many fad diets going on. There were too many different types of training styles that were saying this is good, this is bad, which there is now as well. But these were more search and Google kind of vibe. So when I started, I definitely went through all the process of different diets, different training styles, and I made many mistakes on the way, a lot of different things. And I'm here to basically tell you about all the stuff I did, mistakes I made, and make sure that you don't make those mistakes. So who am I? I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. So like I said, I started fitness when I was 23. My best friend actually dragged me out of bed and forced me to do it because I wasn't really living the best lifestyle. I used to party a lot. I used to drink a lot. Gym, I didn't even know what that was. I don't think I even stepped foot in a gym until I was in university and we were actually forced to take gym class. Luckily, I knew the person at the reception. Well, not luckily. I knew the person at the reception and they would just sign it for me. And I never actually went because I was skinny, but I wasn't healthy. And at that time, the whole thought process was if you are skinny, why would you need to go to the gym? So I lived off lots of beer, lots of partying, lots of junk food, pizzas, ramen, all of that stuff. And then when I came back from university and I started working, that lifestyle kind of continued. Not as much, obviously, but it was still happening. Again, no gym, no health, no walks, no nothing. I was living a pretty sedentary lifestyle, but I was, I thought that was normal. And until my best friend came back from uni, she had done her personal training and was like, I'm taking you to the gym, and forced me. And I hated it, but it's nice to have somebody looking out for you. And honestly, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. This was at 23. I am 32 now. I've been in the industry for ages and my entire life changed since I found fitness. So for me, it wasn't about fat loss. Although later on I realized I was skinny fat. Fitness just made my mind just better in the sense that the kind of lifestyle I was leading was obviously extremely unhealthy and it was obviously affecting my mental health as well. I was insecure, but I just didn't understand, how do I feel good? I've got everything in life and I still don't feel great. And then I went to the gym and the more that I did it, the better I felt. And it got to a point where I actually didn't want to be partying. I didn't want to be having late nights. I wanted to wake up. I wanted to get to the gym. I wanted to get that feeling of all the endorphins rushing through my mind and the rest of my day just going super smooth. And that's when I fell in love with it. And then eventually she helped me in this as well. She kind of pushed me to it. That's a story for another time. Anyway, greatest decision, getting certified, starting to work in fitness. And it was so amazing when I actually started helping people and started getting feedback of the lives that I was changing because, for me and a lot of my clients as well, this concept of fitness, you come in with this mindset of you have these body goals, you want to be healthier, but the overall thing that fitness does for your life is not just that. It changes everything and it changes everything for the better and it changed me for the better. So I'm always going to be thankful for that. So that's a little bit about me. So when I began my fitness journey, obviously because of the kind of lifestyle that I was leading, my biggest insecurity was my belly fat. And it was just something that was always there. I mean, it's a given, right? I used to smoke. I used to drink. I barely used to sleep. I mean, I was eating like McDonald's and KFC was on my speed dial. And I used to love ordering Pizza Hut at like 2 a.m. and I'd get like a pepperoni with extra tomato sauce and double cheese and olives. And I would like savor that like maybe 3 times a week at 2 a.m. after dinner, because after you drink, this is what you want. So belly fat was something that was always there. And so when I started training, like, I guess it was good for my mind, but then I was like, all right, now I need to get rid of my belly fat. And in that time, I worked with nutritionists. I've worked with many different coaches, and I've done many different things. And to be honest, again, back in the day, I'm not saying anybody did anything wrong, but I feel like everything was so extreme. And so I went super extreme. And after a few years of like doing endless amounts of cardio, restricting my diet like insane, I finally achieved somewhat of a flat stomach. But it was hell, and I definitely could not sustain that for the long term, obviously. So back then, when my best friend forced me to get into the gym and I started falling in love with it and everything, I was also working in F&B in my family business at the time. So I was working with my dad, and I was doing food and beverage as well as fitness, until one day I decided, you know what, this is what I want, because I'm feeling great and I want people to feel great and I want to do this full time. And yeah, it was a little contradictory. I mean, that's not really the point, but it was just, I wanted to focus completely on this. And so I had to pick up the courage and tell my dad that, you know, I was not going to work for him anymore. That did not go down so well. He was obviously upset, which I don't blame him, because I was the only one in family business. And then, yeah, it's been, I think I did that in 2017, and he's pretty proud of me now, but it took a while. But honestly, it was probably the best decision that I made. And like the feeling I get from just helping people, and it's not just helping, but also being able to educate people to actually make them understand why they're doing what they're doing. It just brings me so much joy, because like I said, you know, my goal is to make everybody self-sustainable, and whatever you're looking for, the results need to last long term. Because for me, it's not about going from point A to point B, you know, not achieving, this is my goal, this is what I want to achieve. It's how do I make this my lifestyle? You know, for me, it was different. I was forced and everything, and I fell in love with it. But not everyone is like that. A lot of people, they don't want to go from one extreme to the other, and we also shouldn't, to be honest. So that's my goal with this podcast. And I'm also going to be bringing on some guests onto the show, people from the industry, more specialists. I will make sure that they don't speak in jargon and overcomplicate things, and just keep it as simple as possible, because that's what we're here to do. We'll also be tapping into different areas of life, because obviously when fitness leaks into other parts of your life, you know, you learn to have a better routine, you learn how to take care of yourself, like you learn to, in a way, I feel like when you've got your health and nutrition in check, and also obviously your mindset, you know, you're taking care of your mind, a lot of things in your life tend to just get better, but you obviously have to put the work in. So we're going to look at achieving goals, coming out of our comfort zone, and a lot of things like that. Like for me, going into fitness, leaving my dad's company was massively, obviously, getting out of my comfort zone, taking a risk. And 3 years later, I decided to just leave everything, and I was with my family, and I left everyone behind, and I moved to Spain to have a different life. That's another episode, and that was me actually taking a big risk, and it was scary because I was 32 years old, and I'm like, woo, let's go. I just realized I said I was 32 years old earlier. I'm actually 35, but I was 32 when I moved to Spain, and it was a very scary thing to do. But you know, part of growth is coming out of your comfort zone. So that's something we're going to talk about as well. So yeah, it's just a quick intro. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me today. And I hope that together we'll be able to help you understand your physical health, nutrition, also organize your life and guide you to avoid any mistakes that I have made or clients that I have and just experienced through their stories and from all the work that I have done. I've learned many valuable lessons throughout my journey, and I've also learned from my clients, because what we learn in a textbook is very different from when we're actually working with somebody. Each individual is unique. No one person is the same. Not their bodies, not their needs, not their mindset. Like, everything is different. And so I've learned a lot from myself. I've learned a lot from my clients, and I've made many mistakes, and I've helped a lot of people, and I have just learned, and I've always been willing to grow and grow and grow. And I want to bring all that knowledge to you guys. So I've learned that life can be tough. Nutrition can be so confusing, but I think if you get out of your comfort zone and you actually take the time to want to understand, which is why I'm here, to make you understand it in a simple way, we can actually learn and grow and be better versions of ourselves. So my goal through this podcast is really to just give you real conversation, real stories, real people, real circumstances, and make you understand that it's not as complicated as people make it out to be. So a lot of fancy words being thrown around. Every day there's something new. Now everyone's on this whole cortisol high, like your face is puffy because of that. Yesterday it was something else. But it's really not that hard. There are basics, and if you follow the basics, you will be able to achieve the things you want to achieve. And then it's just about, how do I just create this into a life? So that's what we're here for, and that's exactly what I'm hoping to give you. So if you feel like this is something that you want to listen to and you want to understand more, then make sure to hit the subscribe button. And thank you so much for tuning in to It's Pretty Simple. I'm Nikita Koli, and I will catch you on the next episode.